It's build week on iRacing, which means we get a bunch of new content in the game. There are multiple new cars, as well as a couple of new tracks, and there's really something for everyone, especially if you like prototypes. Today I'll be going through all the new content and working out what's worth buying and what's worth giving a miss. Let's do it. So for this build, we have 5 pieces of content. We have 3 new cars and 2 new tracks to choose from. I'll be trying all the new content today. I'll be trying the cars and I'll be giving them a quick skid on the new tracks to see how they handle. Let's get into it. The first car that's been added to iRacing this week is the Legia JS P320 LMP3 car. This car is raced in the IMSA Sports Car Series, as well as the Asian and European Le Mans Series in real life. This car is a prototype, but I think it's a really good balance between being speedy, whilst also being quite beginner friendly to drive. You drive on the right-hand side of the car, which I honestly feel quite at home in, and I thought this might have been because Legia is French, but it turns out that the French drive on the right-hand side of the road as well, so I'm not really sure why you sit on the right hand side of the car, but it's nice. This is a good car to drive, honestly. The best thing in iRacing about this car is that it's only $15, so if you crash it, you don't have to go out and perform a bunch of crowns and root canals to pay for all the damage you caused. Let's give this car a quick run at Sebring and see how it goes. I'm starting my first lap in the brand new LMP3 car on iRacing. We're at Sebring, and my first impression is that it's quite fast. It's honestly faster than I was expecting as a race car. My first impressions are that it's kind of surprisingly loose on entry, which is really fun, I think. It doesn't feel stable on the way in, so you can kind of like juggle the car in there, but it feels super stable on exits with traction control. But yeah, it's got a surprising amount of mid-corner grip. It feels really light, but it doesn't have a super huge amount of power, I guess. Oh, I've bowled it off. It's got less grip than I think it does, maybe. It's an interesting car. It's obviously got less grip and less power than the LMP2, but like, you don't notice it, or at least I don't notice it until I'm midway through the corner. This car is honestly surprisingly fun. I'm surprised by how fun this is. It gets kind of sideways, but yeah, honestly, I like it. It's a thumbs up. The next new thing on iRacing is Willow Springs. This track is in the desert of California in America, and it is old. It's been running since around 1953, and it is utterly devoid of any tarmac runoff, or gravel traps, or anything but dirt. Now, I'll be honest, I don't like this track. I actually quite dislike it. This track has been around in Gran Turismo for a while, and if there's any experience that I've learned from driving it there, it's that if you run off the track, you just keep going forever. Also, the best thing about this track is that if you run off on the exit of turn 1 and hit this bump on the entry to turn 2, your car will go flying 4 kilometers. Part of the release of this track in this build in iRacing is brand new 3D foliage. What this means is that there is now 3D grass in the sim, so you can actually go and touch grass in iRacing if you'd like. Now, do you actually like Willow Springs? No hate if you do. Feel free to let me know in the comments. Otherwise, if you're enjoying the video, feel free to leave a like. The next car in this build is the Porsche 911 GT3 R992. This is a GT3 car, and it will be replacing the previous Porsche 911 GT3R, which has only been in iRacing for a really short amount of time. It was released in this build 2 years ago. Honestly, from what I've seen, this car seems very similar to the previous gen Porsche GT3. It's a bit of a rocket out of the corners, but it'll kill you sometimes. The new gen car does look a little bit easier to catch and save slides in, so that's a pretty good thing. It also has the really big rear tail light at the back, which I'm like a bit of a fan of. Yeah. Let's give this new Porsche a run at the Willow Springs track on iRacing. Okay, so I'm starting my first lap in the brand new Porsche at Willow Springs. First thing I noticed is the Porsche dash, very similar to the current Cup car. The second thing I've noticed is, look at all the grass. Oh my god. It's beautiful. It doesn't even look like iRacing anymore. This looks like a completely different game. I can't get over it. Yeah, this car drives nice. It feels pretty stable, honestly. It feels like a GT3 car. And this track, compared to like Gran Turismo versions, it feels like you can really feel the elevation changes. Like you can really feel like it goes up and down. Alright, so this is the line you do in Gran Turismo. Let's see if it works. No, doesn't work. Anyway, honestly, this car is a GT3 car. I think it's pretty good. And this track looks beautiful. And it's fine, I guess. Alright, final corner. Where is it? There it is. Alright, that's a lap. And this track's okay. This car's pretty good. Yeah, it's okay, I guess. The next track we have from iRacing in this build is from Spain. It is Motorland Aragon. Now this track is most famous for hosting MotoGP racing, especially in front of the iconic stone wall before the back straight. In my opinion, this track is really underrated, and I'm really happy to see it being brought to a modern sim as first-party content. It's got a really good mix of mid to high-speed corners, as well as a sort of reverse corkscrew midway through the lap. The final car we have in this build is the Cadillac V Series LMDh. This car is raced in the GTP class in IMSA, as well as the hypercar class in the World Endurance Championship, including Le Mans. The first thing you notice about this car is the sound, and it sounds amazing. It's got a really low grumble that turns into a roar as you get higher in the rev range. In terms of styling, it's not my favorite looking prototype, but it has a kind of a mean look, which I kind of like, I guess. Let's drive this new Cadillac on a lap around the new Aragon track. Okay, so I'm starting a lap of Aragon in the brand new Cadillac GTP car, and the first thing you notice with this car is the sound. Whoa, it sounds really good. And the first thing you notice with this track is like these corners are just almost flat out in this car. It's really cool. But yeah, the first thing I've noticed, I guess, with these, the second thing I've noticed with these GTP cars is I find them quite difficult under brakes. They've got huge amounts of mid-corner speed, but this Cadillac, it's difficult to drive under brakes. This corner here is the reverse corkscrew. Gotta back it down, probably second gear and exit. In another corner that's just flat if you get it right. This track is so high speed, it's super fun. Brake at 100 for here. On the left we have the stone wall. Run a bit wide, oops. Drag it into this, it's like a flip-flop onto the back straight. Just picking up the 1Xs is so fun. It's like the best balance of like good sounding and also just fun to drive. The mid-corner is awesome. So this track has different layouts for the end of it. We're driving the car one with a little hairpin, but the bike one has like a kind of flowing hairpin to get back to the main straight. And a final couple of corners. And there you go. That's Aragon in the Cadillac. It's awesome. It's like, this is my favorite combo by far. It's really, really cool. Those are the new 5 cars and tracks that are in iRacing. Have you bought them? Do you think they're any good, or do you think they're worth buying? Feel free to let us know in the comments. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to Overtake for more iRacing videos. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.